This is personal governance, and this is my first month implementing it. This is September 2025, so this is personal governance month 0. Let's get into it. I'm just going to go over briefly what personal governance is, why I chose to do this, how the results looked, and the changes that I'm going to want to see next month. What the hell is personal governance? It's essentially taking the systems, frameworks, policies, and procedures from the corporate world and then applying that at the individual level. I realized in my life I was drifting around trying to achieve goals, trying to move haphazardly between activities. I was trying to build something without a solid foundation. I was trying to lose weight. I was trying to reduce my screen time. I was trying to get control of my life outside of the working hour, but I was failing. In my career, I spent a lot of time analyzing corporate governance structures to see that they're fit for purpose, to make sure that the end user that they ultimately serve is looked after well. And then I had this epiphany. Why don't I just apply the same rough outline at a high level to my own life? That's what this system is. It starts with strategy. Now, in this strategy, you outline what your goals are, how are you going to achieve those goals at a high level. You also outline how you're going to monitor those goals. You also outline any risks and mitigants at a high level to ensure that you've actually thought through some of these ideas. And then finally, you indicate how you're going to keep yourself accountable and who you're going to report this to. This is reminiscent of the corporate world. Every company that's listed on a public exchange has a board of directors. This board of directors is ultimately responsible for the operation of this company. The board of directors has the power to approve strategy, remove a CEO, and request further documentation to make sure that management at the C-suite is executing their task. Now, as an individual, I didn't have that level of accountability. I would set the goals in private, and I would fail in private. So I realized I needed something concrete on paper that I could keep going back to. Now, the second part of this is monitoring. So you set up in your strategy how you plan on monitoring. Once you finish the strategy, you build a system. This is taking your goal, your high-level goal, and then you have initiatives or projects underneath that. For each project or initiative, you'll record on a weekly, daily, monthly basis how you're achieving that. An easy example is, say, my goal is to lose weight. One initiative or project I can have toward that is to run 40 kilometers a week. Run 40 kilometers a week. And I have a KPI, and that KPI is going to be my body weight, either my weight or my body fat percentage measured on a monthly basis. So you have the goal, which is lose weight. You have the initiatives, which are run, go to the gym, eat healthy. And then you have the KPI, key performance indicator, which is actually the metric you choose to determine if you actually have lost weight. So you can see from that, it's all quantitative. There's no room for messing about in this manner. It's very straightforward. If someone came and looked at this, they would see and understand. And then the final phase is accountability. So this is grabbing an accountability partner. As I said before, I've had instances where I set goals in private and then I give them up in private. I've been in positions where I've gained a lot of weight. I want to lose weight. You look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, I'm fed up. I got to lose weight. Let's go to the gym. You get a couple apps or you watch a couple of videos online and you try to do some kind of gym exercise. Okay, I got to run too. So you start running, but with no real purpose or goal and not recording. And then you're like, I got to eat healthy. And you're like, what does that even mean? Well, just try and eat healthy. And then after a few months, your motivation, your willpower give out and you look at the scale and nothing's changed. And then you get sad and you give up. And then a couple months pass, you're like, I've gained even more weight. Now I got to really double down. And you repeat the process. That's because I'm not accountable to anybody else. I'm not telling other people what I'm doing. I'm just doing all of this in my mind and I'm not recording it. But having someone external to yourself, similar to a board of directors of a company, where you actually report what you said you were going to do in your strategy, you show the results that you've been monitoring, and you say, look, this is what I've done. This is what initiatives I've been working on. Something's still not working. I'm going to do this next month. and it keeps you in the system. It keeps you moving forward. Otherwise, you would just give up and go back to day zero again. But with this, even though you're not at your weight, you know what hasn't worked and you've documented it. So you're now able to iterate into a new activity and insert a new initiative until you achieve the end result you're looking for. So this keeps you moving forward. It stops the constant reaching a place where you're dissatisfied, getting motivation, doing something for a couple months, not recording, getting dissatisfied with the results not happening quick enough, giving up, waiting another 2 months, starting over again. With this, you start, you've recorded what you're doing. Maybe after 2 months, the results don't work, but you've recorded that, you've kept what hasn't worked, and now you can change it up. Next 2 months, something has worked now. So now I know what hasn't worked, and I've dedicated time to figure out what hasn't worked, and now I can move forward. So instead of going back to month 0, you move to month 4. And that's the personal governance system in a nutshell. So why do I need this system? Essentially, I got fat. I was 86 kilograms, really fat, unhappy with that. I wanted to be at 78 kilos. I like being at 78 kilos. I feel good. It's where I look good. Over 2 years, I tried to lose weight and I ended up at the same spot. So I realized I needed a system. I needed something to track. I needed to be more disciplined. And I needed something that gave me more control. And something I could add to as well. This wasn't just about losing weight. This was about reducing my screen time. This was about being able to track my finances better. I needed a system that I could add initiatives and goals into that would work. And then I could have a monitoring protocol that would allow that to happen. This is September, month 0. This is my results. This is the dashboard I reported to my accountability partner. There's quite a lot on it, but as you can see, the grayed out row, first goal is health and fitness. The goal was to achieve 78 kilograms. Second goal was to implement personal governance. And the third goal was to reduce screen time. Now, under each of those goals is the initiatives or projects. So for fitness, I have the weekly running kilometers. My target was 40 kilometers per week, and I achieved 38 kilometers per week on average over the month, which is pretty good. Now, if we look at the other end of the spectrum, we have alcohol-free days in a week. It's a weekly target. My status was red because I wanted 4 days on average a week where I was not drinking, but I only achieved 0.75. That means I'm pretty much drinking every single day. Yeah, I'm pretty much drinking every single day on average. Diet adherence, again, horrific. It's a monthly target. I wanted 70% adherence to a diet, 70% of the days, and I got 9.7%. As a result, you can see the KPI, which is my weight. My target is 78 kilos, 85.5. Not good. I won't go too much into implement personal governance because in this month I didn't really set up the monitoring properly, but the KPI didn't quit, and that's going to change going forward. My goal to reduce screen time was to spend time off the screen. I work in a corporate job where I'm on the screens all the time. I've realized I'm on my phone too much. I really want to get off of that because I'm not feeling any benefit. So I wanted to reduce my screen time to an average of 2 hours per day. Fortunately, during this month, I was at 4.5 hours per day on average, which is horrific. But this is just to give you a taste of month 0. This is the very first month that I implemented this. The win for this month was to set this up and track. It's a significant amount of work to track on a daily basis. What's going to change next month? I'm going to track time that I've spent on personal governance. I'm going to up my running volume, and I'm going to be conducting my first accountability partner meeting. So this is really moving forward. Even at month 0, though my results were horrific, at least I have something. I have on a piece of paper my current state. I know where I'm at. I've measured it, and that's something impressive. Now this is 3 things that I could do next month. And if I keep on doing this, the cumulative impact will push me forward. Let's see what happens next month.